I have a photography channel, but I haven't been able to get out of the house as much lately with my camera. Some, but not as much as before, which is kind of a problem, I suppose. But, of course, could I not maybe film something here? I don't know. I just never really have before. ... Until recently. But I'm going to need a space in which to film this hypothetical something. Problem is, the house that I'm unable to get out of is actually a somewhat tiny apartment. I share the apartment, so it's an issue, space. Space is an issue for me. I've never had a proper place to film at home, however strange that might sound. Not that I really ever wanted to sit down and talk to the camera in particular until recently. I always just film my stuff on location. That has worked well for me for a long time, but now I want to have a permanent place to film, so I also want to try to do this as cheaply as I possibly can. So some of the stuff I'll be buying to set this up. A lot of it I already own. As much as possible, I'm going to use stuff that I already own. And I'll tell you, it's not really even solely about, I haven't been able to get out of the house. Apartment. I don't know why I say house. I guess apartment doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. But it's because I'm creatively numb. I'm burned out. I need to change things up, desperately. Actually, it's not even solely about making these videos. I write and record music, and it's been years since I've had a proper space in which to do that. And actually, that's even more important to me than having a place to film, honestly, having a place to record music again. Fortunately, these are not mutually exclusive goals, but to that end, I am prioritizing audio quality over physical beauty. And in terms of where, there's really only one option in my small apartment, which is at my desk in the office that I share with my wife. And it only works for filming if I turn 90 degrees away from my desk. It would be a lot more convenient to face the desk. But the camera could only be about 2 feet in front of me with a wall 2 feet behind me. I mean, it could work, honestly, but with more space, I can light it better. I can use a better lens. So instead, it worked out that the best orientation is to have the desk at my side. So I have the camera about 4 feet in front of me, and the back wall is about 5 feet behind me. Still cramped, but I can work with this. I filmed in this exact space on the last 2 videos. Didn't include much of the actual video, mostly just the audio. But I had not set anything up yet. It was just the plain, bare office, same as it's been since we moved in here 2+ years ago. And other than having carpet, which I'm grateful for, every single other thing in this office reflects sound. And the audio in those last 2 videos sounded atrocious, really bad. I hated it. Also, setting this up finally gives me the chance to use the microphone, which I would have liked to have used since the very beginning, but just haven't ever had the chance. It's kind of an awkward microphone, especially the way I had it set up. Turns out the way I had it set up, it's too awkward even for this. Too awkward for this world, maybe. I don't actually own a mic stand, or I didn't. I tried to use a light stand. I have this contraption that surrounds the mic to help control audio reflections, but it is not working out. I can't get it out of the shot without lowering the microphone way too far away from my mouth, but this apparatus is what allowed me to mount the mic to this unconventional stand. So ultimately, I just had to buy a real microphone stand, along with the other things I bought to set this up. But instead of using this mic, I've been using a Zoom H5 field recorder for the last 3 years. I adore that recorder. It sounds almost as good as my, quote, real mic, end quote. Kind of similar quality, actually, but it is a whole lot more convenient. And of course, I use wireless mics and whatnot. Most of them sound amazing also. Way better than they have any right to sound, honestly. Audio is just way easier to capture these days, way easier. It used to be quite the challenge. But even the Godox Cube C or OP3 that I reviewed recently, which are quite cheap, and maybe not the greatest mics in the world, but if you hold them close to your mouth, sound really good. There are a lot of good options. A shotgun mic mounted on the camera would work reasonably well too. I just sold one of those for $50 on eBay. But I have the Blue Yeti mic, the infamous, oft-derided Blue Yeti. I know everyone always tells me how much the Blue Yeti sucks, that it's apparently just an accepted fact, especially intent on informing me of this fundamental truth are the employees at my local music store. I get it, it's a terrible microphone, how dare I? But it really, really does not suck, and it is not terrible. But also, this is the Blue Yeti Pro, not the Blue Yeti. I've owned plenty of other mics, including whatever more expensive mic the guy at the music store swore to me was leagues better than the Blue Yeti Pro several years back. It wasn't. Sounded quite bad to me. I returned it, but I was already hunting for the perfect mic for me, for my recording. By the mid to late 1990s, I eventually landed on an AKG condenser mic, which I used for the next decade plus. I recorded tons of music on it, vocals. It was great. I guess because I was tired of dealing with buzzy mic noise, tired of all the cables and preamps and whatnot. Mostly because I wanted to use a laptop to record rather than a big noisy tower, plus some kind of box to convert the analog signal to digital. In some cases, that's not the worst thing in the world. The analog to digital box. I still use something like that for electric guitar, but portability, simplification, consistency, that's what I was after. So I was wondering if USB in digital audio straight out of the mic would perhaps be a good solution for me. Anyway, I was impressed by the very affordable original Blue Yeti. The only thing I wasn't so thrilled about was the maximum 16-bit 48 kilohertz bit depth and sampling rate. Plenty good for something like this though. But I wanted something higher resolution for recording music. But then the Blue Yeti Pro came out, or at least I became aware of its existence. I think it had been out for a while before I even knew about it, but 24-bit, 192 kilohertz, and so that's been my mic ever since. I love it, except I haven't had the chance to use it in about 3 years. It's not that I don't see room for improvement, but I like the way it sounds, genuinely. A lot, actually. Gets the job done quite well for me. And I'm not all that gear obsessed. Unless something is just failing to meet my needs, I usually remain pretty happy with my gear. I respect the opinions of people with more expertise than I have, but I think it comes down to how I like to record things, the things that I've figured out along the way. I have no formal education in audio production. It's seeing what works, doing more of that, less of the stuff that doesn't. You take that basic recipe, then add time, and you end up with something uniquely your own. So rather than flushing your own unique method of doing something down the toilet, adopting the generic, homogenized method that the collective has deemed correct, I would rather just stick to doing my own thing, personally. I don't even set my mic like I'm evidently supposed to either. I don't use a cardioid pattern, if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. I don't like the way it sounds. Kind of lifeless. Sure, it helps cut down room reflections and background noise, which I guess is why most people recommend it. Fair enough. I definitely don't like room reflections, but that's why I put all this crap on the walls. I use a stereo pattern. To me, that sounds great. I want to be able to hear every nuance, every imperfection from whatever it is I'm recording, usually an acoustic instrument or a voice. And to me, that very clearly results in a more interesting sounding recording. But audio reflections need to be controlled, so I control it as much as possible by treating the room. Some of that unwanted stuff is going to get through, but then step 2 of my process is to not get obsessed. Of course, something could always be better. You just have to get on with the part where you're actually doing the creating. That's the important part, rather than obsessing about the details you can't control. The lights I'm using, I'm pretty sure I bought these in 2020. And as lights go, they're pretty inexpensive, similar to the Blue Yeti Pro, also pretty inexpensive as far as microphones go. They're good lights, I like them very much. I left gaps in the audio treatment. I just didn't want to be 100% trapped in a cave. I know from past rooms that I've treated, well, one past room. No, two actually. It's going to get hot in here if I enclose it completely. Also, it's not really necessary. For example, the audio blanket directly behind me is kind of pointless. The sides and front are really what matters most. That one is purely cosmetic. That is, I just thought it would look odd to be surrounded by the blankets and have a bright white wall behind me. So where I left gaps is where it opens up to the rest of the room, my wife's side of the room. I mean, it still kind of looks odd. And it would sound just a bit better probably if I really made a full enclosure. But I have a door, or a space that serves as a door that I can easily walk through this way. And I have a window. I'm kind of enclosed, just not fully enclosed. I can always order another one of these acoustic blankets, but I think I'm digging this arrangement. I probably won't. So I bought a dummy battery to power my camera so that I don't have to worry about battery life while I'm filming. And I have 3 layers of things on stands in front of me. The camera is the farthest away. In front of that, I'm using an external monitor on a stand so I can keep an eye on the shot of me. That's definitely not necessary. Depending on the camera, the flippy screen might be enough, or, just use like a cheap, used, regular computer monitor. It is nice to be able to see what I'm getting, to make sure I'm in focus and whatnot, but it's certainly not absolutely necessary. I also have a dummy battery for the external monitor it came with, but it's not working reliably for some reason. Too bad. So whenever I can afford it, I need to replace that. But it's not a priority right now because I can just swap out batteries if necessary. And then in front of that is my microphone. I'm almost certainly going to need to add a 4th layer sometimes, my laptop, maybe, so that I can watch the video while I talk over it. That's what I normally do, but now I'm kind of considering a different approach where I record narration before I build the video, and I sort of build the video around the narration. I usually do it the exact opposite way, but we'll see. I don't know. Then there's a light to my right. I would prefer the light be on my left, not because I think I have a good side or something. I was lighting that way before I put up the acoustic treatment, because I could bounce the light off the wall that way. But that isn't going to work anymore. Plus the light itself, the hardware, would be in the shot if I tried to light it from that direction. I do like this sort of portrait light, kind of half in light, half in shadow, though it might be just a touch dramatic for my silly internet videos, but it's either that or something more front on, and I don't care for that look either. So I'll go with this for now. I have the 2 lights behind me, which, okay, 1 light certainly does improve the shot, but using 2 is purely cosmetic. Again, I did a test with 1 light, and I thought it looked weird. In the sense of not being symmetrical, I found it really distracting, so I already own another light, so I threw it up there. Understand, I certainly would not have purchased another light just to use it to make the shot more symmetrical. And if I only had the 1 light to light my face, then I'd probably place it more in front of me, because then the light would carry on to the background and light that up a bit, because without some light hitting the background, it's going to look like half of my face is recording a video from inside of a black hole. If I did have even more width, though, I would move the backlights out of the shot, but that's not an option. I covered my desks with regular blankets, not audio deadening blankets, but regular blankets still deaden audio. I did that because the audio blankets are not machine washable. So if I spill a drink or something, I need to be able to throw them into a washing machine. Also, the sound dampening blankets I bought were the cheapest ones I could find, but they're basically just moving blankets with holes, maybe a little thicker. They absolutely make a big difference, though, moving blankets or not. It's not surprising, I'm sure, to hear that there are way better ones out there. But anyway, regular blankets work, pillows work, an old mattress, doggy beds, anything fluffy and soft is going to help cut down on room reflections. The camera I'm using is my R5, which is not a cheap camera. The camera alone costs more than everything else combined by a lot, but let's say I didn't own a camera that could shoot good video. I'd probably go with something like the Olympus EM1 Mark II for $550-ish US. Plus then I guess I'd need a lens, so who knows, maybe just my phone. Autofocus that can track your face is really helpful. Otherwise, like a Canon 5D Mark II could be a great choice for $250 or so, $200, something like that. If using a phone, you definitely need to get control over exposure, so very likely a third-party camera app would be needed. And none of this is any kind of indication that I'm no longer going to be shooting my videos outdoors. I certainly still am going to be shooting outdoors. I want to try other things as well. I know I touched on why a little bit already, why I want to do this. There's more to it, I suppose. I'm desperate for any kind of change that will make this fun again. It sucks when something was fun, but is no longer fun. Maybe at that point, one should move on with their life, but I'm not quite ready to move on. I want to try to figure out if there's something I can change to get back to where I was before. And if not, fine, I'll move on with my life. But I'm not ready to give up on making photography videos. I just want to have more options going forward. Okay. Oh, let's see.